Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some updates from my houseplant collection. Even though we're getting towards the end of summer now, so the growing season is almost over, the plants are still growing just about, and the first one I wanted to share is this Epipremnum Cebu blue, and this one's growing so well. You can see how much it's grown. This literally started out as just wet sticks at the beginning of spring, summer, and this is what it's grown into. So I'm really kind of proud of this one because it was one that I propagated, and it's really nice to see it just thriving. And I am going to keep this one as a trailing plant. I'm not going to have it climbing anything, so it's not going to fenestrate, but that's okay because my plan is to just keep it as a nice trailing plant. But I'm so happy with how it's really taken off. We've got some vines, it's starting to vine. I wasn't actually sure how well this one would do this year, with it just starting out as kind of wet sticks at the beginning of the season, so just to see it doing really well is really nice. And this is one of my easiest plants too. It propagated really easily, and now that it's a fully established plant, it's also really easy to care for too. So if you're considering a Cebu blue, maybe adding one to your collection, definitely have a go. It's a really easy plant. I absolutely love it. So I've actually decided that this one is probably my all-time favourite philodendron, and I know that's saying a lot, but this one has grown so well this season. You can see how many new leaves it has, and it's actually still growing too. You can see there it's still working on a new leaf, and I just think that Philodendron Atabapoense is a stunning plant. And just look at those beautiful leaves. They're so long and elegant, and I just love how this one grows. And I'm pretty sure I've mentioned before that this isn't the fastest grower, but considering this was a really tiny plant at the start of the growing season, it's doing pretty well, isn't it? So yeah, I think I might say this is my favourite philodendron, and I do really love philodendrons, so to pick a favourite, a number one favourite, is really hard, but I think it might be this one. I just really love it, and yeah, if you can get your hands on one of these, definitely get one. It's really easy to care for too, so simple and very forgiving, and I've just really enjoyed having it in my collection. This season it's been one of those plants that have kind of just not given me any trouble at all, and that I've just got a lot of joy from growing this season. So yeah, and it also has the backs of the leaves with that burgundy colour. I just think that's beautiful. But yeah, I do have a little stick in there for it at the moment, but it's probably going to need a little bit more support soon. But yeah, this is definitely probably my favourite philodendron, but also one of my favourite plants from this season as well. Then next I wanted to share with you my Begonia Maculata. This one really slowed down a little bit after I repotted it, but it's got back into its swing. You can see it's got a brand new leaf there, and all of the canes in here are sending out loads and loads of lovely new leaves, and it's really recovered well from its repot. As I say, it kind of halted a little bit afterwards, which is really normal, isn't it, after a repot? Many plants do it, but it's just lovely to see it putting out leaves again. I love how they come out all kind of scrunched up, and then they kind of emerge from their scrunched up form and eventually get bigger. I find that really interesting about this plant. And honestly, so far this is the only begonia I've ever kept alive, and I believe this one is known for being the easiest begonia available. But maybe next year I might try a few more begonias. I don't know, but I'm really happy I've finally managed to keep one alive. I've tried this one before and it didn't work out, so I don't know what I'm doing differently this time. It does like me to just leave it alone. I think sometimes we can make things worse when we helicopter around our plants, can't we? Sometimes they just want us to leave them alone. So yeah, but really happy this is working out, and I don't have that many crispy edges too. I guess that's probably due to the fact that I don't let it dry out, but I don't actually use any extra humidity or anything like that for this one, and That's something I was worried about, but actually it seems fine. I mean, it does get fairly humid here in the UK, so you know, maybe the ambient humidity is enough for it, but I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that this one gets through the winter, because I really don't want to see it decline. And yeah, I'm just loving having this plant in my collection. I have to show you this beautiful big leaf on my Philodendron Prince of Orange. It's really sized up because you can see how small the other leaves are. I had this one last year, so I've had this for probably about 18 months now, but I got it obviously as a very small plant, but just to see the leaf here size up, that makes me so happy, and it tells me that the plant is starting to size up. So really happy about that, and I love watching this one grow. So happy that it's starting to size up. We'll see what happens. It's definitely enjoying being kept a little bit more water. Don't get me wrong, I do let it dry out, but not all the way. I think the mistake I was making before, so I was letting it dry out a little bit too much and for a little bit too long. It seems to like it when I kind of let the topsoil dry out, but not all the way. And it seems to be growing a lot better. It's even popped out some extra growth points. So yeah, I just love how glossy it is though. If you see when I do that, the way it kind of shines in the light. It's such a pretty plant. I love this one, and I know a lot of you guys have got this one and you love it too. Also, another little thing that I did was I gave this Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma a little stick, a support stick. So it was getting quite heavy. The vines were starting to kind of flop over, obviously because it is a vining plant, but I wasn't quite ready to repot it again, really, so that I could put a proper pole in there. So I've just given it this little stick for now, just to keep it going, and then next year I'll give it something a bit more substantial. But I thought it looked quite cute as it is now. Obviously it's not going to stay like this for very long because it's one of those fast growing plants, but I thought it looked kind of cute and dainty at the moment, so let's just appreciate it as it is. And this is another one that I literally chopped this up into bits. I had to propagate it because it had root rot, and it's just grown really nicely, and it's a lovely feeling to know that I've saved this plant. Some of the new leaves have come out a little bit smaller without any fenestrations, but that's okay. That may be because I didn't have it on anything to climb. They will come back eventually, but yeah, I just thought it looked really kind of cute and pretty on its little bamboo cane for now. It will keep it going until we get to next year, and then yeah, I'll definitely give it something to climb, because I know these are fast growers, and next year is going to be the first year that it's properly fully established, so I'm probably going to see some huge growth on this one in 2026. So my Philodendron bipennifolium Golden Violin did put out this new leaf. Just be careful here, at the moment it's really skinny. It's not long come out, to be fair, so I don't know if it's going to expand a bit, we'll say like that. But I thought that was kind of cool to see it put out its first new leaf in my care. It hasn't obviously finished growing or hardening off yet, but I thought it was cool to see it put out a new leaf in my care. And this is another philodendron that I'm a huge fan of. It's not one that I've had for very long yet, but I really like philodendrons that have kind of weird shaped leaves, and this one's really cool. And just check that isn't a pest. No, it's just a bit. You got to check, haven't you? But yeah, that's the first new leaf in my care, and it's just exciting to see it there. We'll see how it goes as we go on, but obviously I've bought this pretty close to the end of the growing season, so I don't think we're going to see a huge amount of growth from this one. Really, realistically it's going to be next year, but yeah, I can look forward to next year, and just until then keep it happy. I have started using my grow lights again now that it's getting darker and we're going into autumn here in the UK, so I've got my grow lights on again, and I'm trying to keep the plants happy. My mission this autumn winter is just to keep the plants happy, try and get them through healthily without any casualties, but we will see how it goes. Next we have this one. This is a Hoya Carnosa Freckles. I'm just so pleased with how this one's growing. Look how lovely it's trailing. It looks so pretty. It's got so many new leaves and it's just growing really lovely. It's really fun to watch it grow. And I think this might actually be one of my favourite Hoyas at the moment. I just love how it's falling at the minute, the way it's growing. It's got kind of a really beautiful structure to it. And yeah, I just think it's grown beautifully for me so far this season. I'm assuming Hoyas slow down a bit during autumn winter. This is my first autumn winter with Hoyas because, as many of you know, I've only just started collecting Hoyas, so yeah, this will be my first autumn winter. So I'm assuming they slow down like other plants do, but really happy with the progress this one has made this growing season and just loving having this one in my collection. It looks so healthy and lovely and lush, and I'm loving how many vines it's got. Pretty excited to see how it goes next growing season because that will be my second proper growing season with this plant and I'll get to see it really take off even more. But I just thought it looked so healthy and lush and beautiful, so I had to share that one with you today. Another Hoya that's kind of doing some stuff is this one. This is Hoya Flamingo. Now it hasn't grown quite as much as the previous one I showed you, but it has been putting out new growth and it's been putting out some lovely pink leaves. They obviously do fade out eventually, but yeah, it's growing slower than the other one, but it has grown, so I'm really pleased with that. And again, just really looking forward to seeing how it does during my second growing season with it, because it's always this kind of second to third growing season that I have with a plant where it will properly take off. So I'm always excited for the second one to see what it does, but nice to see this one growing because yeah, this was a wishlist Hoya and I think it's really pretty. My Philodendron Silver Sword has a new leaf, you can see there, so that's exciting. And it's nice to have it on this pole because I can properly handle it without having to worry about it falling. It's nice and supported on there. It's still a bit twisty, but that's okay. But yeah, I have this one near a grow light because I'm trying to really encourage it to grow those mature leaves. So I don't want it to have any excuse not to. So it's getting plenty of light. So it better not try to revert to juvenile leaves because I know that I'm giving it lots of lovely light. So yes, hopefully it's going to behave itself. But I'm loving having this plant in my collection again because yeah, I lost my other one and I really love this plant. So it is fun to have it in my collection. It's a bit more of a bulky plant than some of the other philodendrons, but I think it's worth it if you love it enough, which I do. I just love the sword shape of the leaves on this one, but also the colour, the bluey silver colour is really pretty as well. I love it. My Monstera Albo is still working on that third leaf. It hasn't actually properly hardened off yet, but I think it's almost at the full size, but you can see it has some nice variegation in it. And it is also working on a third leaf, I can see, trying to emerge there. I don't know how long that one will take, especially now we're going out of summer, but it's nice to see that it's working on leaf number 4. I'm pretty excited to see what leaf number 4 will look like. I do have this one under a grow light, but not too close to a grow light because obviously I don't want to burn it. So I've just been trying to get it right. So make sure it gets plenty of light, but not too much light that it burns the white bits. I think I'm getting it right so far. I really want to keep this one growing nicely, and I want to make sure that it maintains its variegation and it maintains its fenestrations. And this new leaf is definitely more fenestrated than the previous one, and it has a really lovely variegation. So yeah, really enjoying growing this one, and I think it's going to quickly outgrow its spot, but for now it's kind of sat nestled in amongst some of my other plants where it seems pretty happy so far. But yeah, I had to share that one because the leaves it's putting out are so pretty. Really beautiful variegation in it. Another plant that's done so well this season is this one, the Hoya Bella. Just look how much it's grown. It looks lovely, doesn't it? And this, of course, was another one that was just a couple of tiny cuttings right at the start of the season, and it's just really flourished. Really excited to see what this one does next year too. Obviously, as I mentioned before, this was my first year with it, but next year it will really start to properly take off. So really excited, but it's lovely to see it really flourishing, and it's got way more branches than I thought it would. It's really branched off nicely, so we'll see what happens next year. I guess it will eventually start to trail, and that will be exciting too, and I'll have to have it kind of more high up somewhere. At the moment it can just sit nicely on a shelf somewhere, but eventually it's going to be sprawling everywhere, isn't it? So I will have to move it somewhere where it can have a bit more space to trail a bit more, but love this one. This was one of the plants that was on my wish list for a while, and honestly it hasn't disappointed. I've loved growing this one. It really is fun, and yeah, I was pretty lucky to have been given some cuttings of this one because it doesn't seem to come up very often, at least not here in the UK. So yeah, I think I'm pretty lucky to have been given some cuttings of this one, and I just think it's a beautiful plant, very elegant, and yeah, I really want to make sure I get it through the winter. Let's make sure it makes it to next season so I can see it flourish more next year. Just look how big this Syngonium Albo is getting. I honestly didn't think this one was going to get this big this growing season because it was a very small plant when we started. And I know this is a fast growing plant, but you know, that doesn't always happen with a plant in the first growing season that you have it, as I keep saying, but this one's grown a lot faster than I thought, and I have a feeling that next year in the second growing season that I have it, it's probably going to really take over and get really mad big. So I'm going to have to come up with a kind of support solution for it at some point, because obviously it's going to start getting heavy and trailing as Syngoniums do, but I just adore this Syngonium. It's one of my favourites, and it's really easy to care for, and it's just got absolutely stunning variegation. I really love it, and I'm glad that it's now established itself, and there's no chance, well, not no chance, but there's less chance of it unaliving, at least from those kind of early things. Sometimes when plants are brand new and they're only little babies, they're a little bit more vulnerable. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is it's out of that kind of little baby vulnerable stage, and it's now an established plant. So, and of course it can still get pests and things like that, but it's not quite as vulnerable because it's nice and established now. But yeah, super happy with that one. And this was another wishlist plant that I had on my list for ages, and I have to say it hasn't disappointed. So next is this one. This is my variegated peace lily, and the reason I'm pleased with how this one has recovered is because this one suffered from me underwatering it. It was all my fault, and it was struggling a bit. It had lots of browning, but you can see now it's got loads of lush new growth. It doesn't have the browning anymore, apart from maybe the odd small brown tip, but it's just really recovering well, and it's looking beautiful, and I'm just really relieved. The key really for this is obviously stop underwatering it. It didn't like being underwatered, so I'm just being extra careful not to let this one dry out. It was my fault, you know, I've worked out what I was doing wrong and I corrected it, and that's all you can do, isn't it? But now that it's looking lovely again, I'm just really happy, and I'm going to continue to make sure I care for it how it wants to be cared for. And yeah, it's just looking so lovely and healthy, and it's one of my success stories this season for sure. I love it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.